ABC's Rebel is a new series coming out next week, inspired by the life of well-known legal advocate Erin Brockovich, along with veteran actors Katey Sagal, Andy Garcia, and Tamala Jones. The drama stars Ariela Barer as the troubled and rebellious teen Ziggy. Here with more on this show and her role is Ariela Barer. Hi, Ariela.
Hi.
Yes, thanks for joining us. Now, Erin Brockovich, such an iconic film. Now, had you seen the film before you got this project?
I had not seen it before, but I've known of Erin Brockovich's work for, I feel like as long as I can remember. She's always been an icon figure in my life.
Yeah, and she's a part of this project as well as the EP?
Yeah.
How was that working with her?
I mean, with COVID restrictions, it hasn't been as personal as you'd love it to, with the layers of masks and shield and everything. But every time we're on a Zoom call together, it's just, she brings an energy to everything she does that is so just great to be around. I kind of just sit there in awe every time.
I can imagine. Well, why don't you set up Rebel for us and tell us a little bit about it, because it's an all-star veteran cast in it as well.
Yeah, so Rebel is a show inspired by the life of Erin Brockovich after, you know, her fame with her case, and it follows her activism in her work, but it also really follows the interpersonal relationships that she has in her life and the messy, complicated dynamics of everyone around her, and the way that the work kind of sits with everyone in their lives. So it follows her family and all of the families before, and Andy Garcia playing Julian Cruz, the lawyer that she works for. It's kind of about the characters and our lives.
Yeah, as Val mentioned, fantastic cast. Now, you play the daughter of Katey Sagal and kind of a troubled young woman.
Yeah, Ziggy's gone through a rough patch, but she's on the recovery when we start the show, and her arc is really about channeling all of these feelings and her sensitivity and anger towards the world into something more productive, and finding her passion for life and people.
So talk to us a little bit. You know, we keep talking about your co-stars, these veterans that you've been working with, but you are the veteran in your own rights too. I mean, you've done, of course, One Day at a Time on Netflix, Runaways. How is Ziggy's character different from some of the other roles you've played, and how did you have to prepare for it?
I mean, it's funny, in a lot of ways different and similar. I've been very lucky to play people that have a lot of passion and care about things that I care about in my real life, which has made my job too easy almost. So Ziggy is someone that is very passionate. She has a more troubled past than I've ever really played or dived into.
We know
what you mean. We know what you mean. Okay, so what about in real life? Did you have any rebellious stages? Any similarities to Ziggy?
Oh yeah, I mean, I grew up in LA like Ziggy. I was in a punk band in the punk scene, and lots of rebellion. I've also been very involved with activism since a young age, going to protests when I was a kid, and then branching off into teenage years. I would take the train so I wouldn't have to tell my parents where I was going, and am I giving people bad advice? But I'd go to protests. I'd go to like protests for causes that I cared about, and they were dangerous, but ultimately very worthwhile, and I don't regret it at all.
Well, obviously you are successful in front of the camera, but you also just directed a short film, Jelly. So do you see your career maybe doing a little bit of before, in front of the camera and behind the scenes?
Oh, absolutely. I've always been really interested in directing and writing, and in my teenage years also, like, even had a film blog where I just love directors, and I think it's also just very much put into perspective why I like acting also, like why I do what I do. It's the stories and being part of this collaborative work. I just want to be a part of all of it.
Right. Now, Val and I both love movies and shows about lawyers, about anything. Like, you're obsessed with, like, Law and Order.
That's for you.
Yeah. So, but this show seems like it's more than just about the law and more about court. This is a lot about family and relationships. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's these very human moments of dealing with all of that, which almost gives it more stakes to go then into the courtroom and the hospital and the law enforcement side of it, because you are so connected to these people and their lives and the way this is going to impact them on a very personal level, that the highs and lows feel really real and personal throughout the show.
So Ariela, how was it shooting this during a pandemic in the middle of COVID?
Yeah, I mean, we're still shooting it, and it's there are challenges. I cannot say there are no challenges because, you know, we are so blocked off from the world in so many ways. But I think it really does speak to the quality of character of everyone on set, that like everyone has still gone out of their way through all of the social distancing and masks and everything to create relationships and like create friendships just throughout the set, that it is still this like very fun and friendly environment, despite, you know, having to say hi from 6 feet away.
Yeah, that's how we're living our lives here.
Yeah.
We have no audience here right now. Yeah. Well, good luck with the show. We will be tuning in.
Thank you so much. This was great.
Thanks, Ariela.
And you can catch the premiere of Rebel right here on ABC 7 Thursday, April 8th at 9 p.m.